Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we dive in, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. Let's get right into it, because what's happening behind the curtain right now with XRP is unlike anything we've seen before. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. A quiet accumulation is taking place on a scale we haven't witnessed since the early days of Bitcoin's institutional floodgates. But this time, it's not Bitcoin, it's XRP, and the players stepping in aren't influencers or retail speculators. They're the architects of global liquidity itself. And today, we're breaking down the story that could mark the turning point in a digital financial revolution, a story that could change what it means to hold XRP. Because make no mistake, this is not hype, it's strategy, it's coordination, and it's unfolding right under everyone's eyes. Over the past few weeks, a quiet movement has been gathering steam. A group of institutional investors pooling billions to gain direct exposure to XRP. They're calling it the liquidity renaissance. Think of it as a mirror to the 2013-2015 MicroStrategy effect, when one company's strategic Bitcoin purchase turned a corporate treasury into a digital gold vault. Except this time, the focus isn't on one of a store value, it's on velocity, compliance, and cross-border power. These new funds and digital asset treasuries, structured like Wall Street instruments, aren't betting on memes. They're betting on infrastructure, on the bridge asset that sits between traditional finance and the tokenized future. And quietly, they're buying every available drop. Now let's zoom out for a minute, because to understand what's happening here, you have to look at the architect Ripple's been building for over a decade. While retail investors were watching price charts, Ripple was sitting in boardrooms with central banks, treasurers, and liquidity managers, building rails for the next phase of money movement. Their goal was never to create a speculative token. It was to replace friction in the global financial bloodstream. Think of the Medici bankers during the Renaissance. They didn't invent money. They invented motion, double-entry bookkeeping, bills of exchange, the systems that made capital flow. Ripple's doing the same thing but digitally. And XRP, that's the ink those ledgers run on. Here's where it gets wild. According to recent liquidity reports, less than 3.5 billion XRP remain available across major exchanges. That's it. Now, institutions are forming specialized vehicles designed specifically to acquire and hold XRP as reserve collateral for cross-border transactions and DeFi liquidity pools. One fund alone, rumored to exceed $1 billion in initial capital, plans to absorb a measurable portion of that available float. Do the math. When billions of dollars chase a finite liquid supply, something has to give. We've seen this story before. In 2020, with Grayscale's BTC Trust, which quietly vacuumed supply ahead of Bitcoin's breakout. 2016, with Ethereum's ICO liquidity crunch, when locked supply triggered parabolic moves. Now it's XRP's turn, except this time it's institutional grade. Let's peel back the curtain on the bigger picture. Behind the scenes, there's a coordinated effort to position XRP as the liquidity backbone for what insiders call the interoperable value web, a system designed to connect central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, tokenized treasuries, and enterprise finance rails. Think of it as the SWIFT network's digital twin: faster, programmable, borderless. And just as the telegraph revolutionized trade in the 1800s by shrinking distance, Ripple's infrastructure is about to collapse time in financial settlement. Every second saved in payment latency saves banks millions. Multiply that by global volume, and you're looking at $1 trillion incentive to adopt instant settlement tech, with XRP at its center. Now let's talk about leadership, because it's not just the technology that's fueling this moment, it's the architect steering it. We've seen key executives, some of Ripple's longest-standing minds, stepping into advisory roles with the new institutional funds. Former Ripple strategists are aligning with entities designed to bridge DeFi and traditional liquidity. This isn't a coincidence, it's a migration. The same way we saw early internet pioneers left IBM to build Google-scale innovation in the early 2000s. It signals maturity. XRP is evolving from a project to an asset class. Every financial revolution begins quietly. When gold-backed certificates replaced raw metal, the public barely noticed. When the first credit networks emerged from the ashes of the Great Depression, people scoffed. When the internet began routing data packets instead of postage, few realized was the dawn of a new civilization. Today, we're watching the same pattern unfold, but this time it's value, not information, being rerouted. The XRP ledger isn't just another blockchain, it's a protocol of transfer. The same way TCP/IP was a protocol of communication. And just as the early internet moved from dial-up to broadband, we're now witnessing finance move from swift to speed. Retail panic is the oldest weapon in finance. Shake the tree, and the fruits fall to those waiting below. Every dip, every red candle, every headline is part of the script. Because while the crowd watches price action, institutions are watching positioning. It's exactly what happened in March 2020. Fear was weaponized. Bitcoin dropped to 3,000 and smart money swept the floor. Now, XRP is in the same cycle. Fear on the surface, accumulation underneath. So if you're an XRP holder right now, understand this. You're holding a seat in the theater before the curtain rises. The next few months could redefine everything we know about the XRP ecosystem and about digital finance as a whole. From the institutional accumulation to regulatory clarity, to the alignment with global payment rails, the stage is set for something massive. So stay sharp, stay informed, don't get shaken out by volatility when we're this close to systematic transformation. Because history doesn't reward the loud, it rewards the patient. And in this story, the patient aren't just holders, they're early architects of the new financial era. Because when the next liquidity wave hits, most won't understand what they've witnessed, but you will. This opened your eyes. Smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment with your thoughts, turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Republic, bringing you the truth about XRP, global banking moves, and the wealth transfer already unfolding. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic.